Hi, I'm Jennifer Thibeaux with Operation Hope, the Director of the Office of Innovation, Research, and Assessment. I want to talk to you this week about the relationship between entrepreneurship, education, and financial literacy. But let's just look at a dashboard of statistics, if you will, for a moment. Entrepreneurship. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, in 2008, approximately 2,400 people moved to entrepreneurship every single day. If you're doing the math on that, that's 100 people an hour that move to entrepreneurship. Additionally, it's estimated that almost $1 trillion in earnings was made from small businesses. Now let's add to that the Small Business Association, the Office of Advocacy, is reporting that 78% of small businesses employ a little over half of the total U.S. workforce. That's a big responsibility for our entrepreneurs to keep our economy moving. Now let's fast forward to looking at the dashboard for education statistics. Nationally, our high school dropout rate is 8%. However, if we look at major cities, I've often said that we're raising minor talent in major cities because that high school dropout rate is usually far greater. And then you start focusing on certain ethnicities, certain areas of the country, that 8% has ballooned to even in the 40% range. Now, what does all the percentages really mean? It means 8% nationally is 4 million kids. 4 million kids that we are placing in a bucket of being uneducated or not meeting a minimum standard of education to probably be successful. Okay, let's put education to the side for a moment. Now let's talk about financial literacy. The Gallup and Operation Hope teams partnered last year to create the Gallup Operation Hope Financial Literacy Index. With that index, we polled over 70,000 youth all across America through a convenient sample. Here's the just quick stats of what we found. Roughly a third of students were financially literate. Roughly the next third of students were financially aware, meaning they had some idea or exposure to the language of money, but they didn't necessarily make the connection with what it meant to earn, how they need to implement it, so that's alarming. But the next third, even more alarming, they were deemed as financially illiterate, so not financially literate. That means no connection, potentially no conversations, no examples in front of them to make them understand the language of money, the economic behavior that is required for success. Now that index, the Gallup Operation Hope Financial Literacy Index, looked at 4 major factors: the connection between hope, well-being, engagement, and financial literacy, to come up with really the results, those findings, those answers. Okay, now let's put everything up on a dashboard. Let's understand, why is this correlated? We have entrepreneurs who are responsible for a large part of the total workforce, small businesses in particular. We have education, which speaks to the readiness of a business person, whether you're in a small business or employee. It also speaks to the availability of the talent pool. And then we have financial literacy, a true underpinning of any organization, from the largest to the one-man operation. Financial literacy, that foundation, which means if we're relying on youth to have small businesses that feed this over half of the total workforce, we have only a third of our youth that potentially have the ability to really feed into the big I. Oh, not me. I is innovation. And so what we do, if we don't start with financial literacy and education, we begin to truly cut off the opportunities, the possibilities of growth in the area of entrepreneurship. Starts with education. Financial literacy must be matched with it so that the bigger picture of knowing how to innovate is available for those people who decide to move into entrepreneurship. The reality is, however, the entrepreneurial spirit is not just in small businesses. It must exist in everyone. So let's put the dashboard of statistics up. We don't want to look at the 1 and 2 statistics by themselves. They are correlated. Entrepreneurship, education, and financial literacy. It's time for us to tackle this in a systematic way. What are you doing this week to put that dashboard of information up, and what can you do to help tackle it? Well, I'm doing a lot of measurement that I'm going to talk to you about in the coming weeks, but I'm glad to just bring up the topic. Have a fantastic week. I'm Jennifer Thibeaux with Operation Hope.